Well, good evening everybody. It's Louise Daniels from Lou's Colourful Crafts here in Retford in the UK, in the middle of Nottinghamshire. I'm ready to go live tonight and show you one or two more projects. Hi Connie, that's a long way to say live from. And tonight I'm going to be just showing you how, because we often make cards. Yeah, I think I'm live. We have to make cards, but Stampin' Up is really good because it's paper craft and inked to make all sorts of different projects. So what I'm going to do this evening is I'm still going to use our new ink colours, but I'm going to use them in a variety of different ways and make one or two projects that maybe you haven't thought of doing. Really simple, lots of fun. Without further ado, I'm going to switch my camera and I'll just reintroduce you to the ink colours. And there they are, right while the camera switches round. I'm hoping it's going to do so any minute now. There we go. And so we have Boho Blue, Copper Clay, Moody Mauve, or Mauve, depending on where you are, Pebbled Path, and Wild Wheat. Now tonight, I'm going to be using mostly, I'll pop those out of the way because I'm going to use mostly Copper Clay and Boho Blue. So, without further ado, what am I going to do? Well, first of all, I literally have just stack cut two 4.2 centimetre strips of basic white DSP, and I'm going to bring in a stamp set that I think is really pretty but is sadly retiring. Hi Lorraine. And this is Eden's Garden. It has some really nice sentiments. Dear friend, how are you? Always quite useful. Sending hugs. Let's celebrate everything. Hello there. I've never used this one, yo. My heart is tied to yours. Tug if you need anything. But you know what? Hi Jane. And in it we have the sentiments and some useful foliage. And I'm just going to take the biggest piece of foliage and two of the other ones, like so. I've not practiced, so anything could happen. I'm going to pick the little ones up on a block, like so, and I'm just going to take that off of there because that's for later. Hi Fran, hopefully you got your catalogue all right. And I'm just going to, so I say these are two pieces of, tell me what it's called, basic white card, and I'm using tonight the Boho Blue and the Copper Clay. And I've got my trusty chamois ready to go, and I'm just going to stamp right over both of them. These are distinctive inks, stamps, so you'll get all sorts of patterns. And I like when I'm doing this to go off the edge a bit so you don't get a full image. And then I'm going to use the Boho Blue. I know you don't normally get blue leaves, but who knows. And I'm just going to infill. And you can surely see that I'm creating. Hi Katie, hope you got your catalogue too. I think you said you had. Really excited to be able to get these catalogues out now to my friends and family. And I'm just going to carry on stamping away, trying to create a random pattern. Pot a bit up there. I'm going to just, as I say, use my trusty chamois, which looks like it needs a really good wash, and clean that one off. So I can then immediately, because they're water-based inks, immediately use and add a bit more Copper Clay. Same pattern, instant different effect, and then I'll just clean that one off so I don't put it away dirty, like so. And I'm going to, good. Enjoy your catalogue, Katie. There's lots of wonderful things inside. I'm just going to add a little bit more brown, like so, and then I think that'll, oh I don't know, might just have one more up there. Clean that one off. So these, as I say, this stamp set is retiring. If you haven't got it and you like what I'm doing tonight, check out the online store and you would be able to purchase it. Now, while I close the inks so we don't get in a muddle, because part of what I wanted to do tonight was to share with you ways of not making cards but other exciting projects, and all I've done is taken a piece, I'll move those out of the way for a minute, a piece of the copper clay. I've used the tailored top punch, which sadly is no longer there, but there are other ones that will make these tops of bookmarks or labels, however you want to describe it. I'm going to bring my trimmer in, and I'm just going to take a piece of this. These are 5 centimeters wide, and I'm just going to measure it. Brilliant. And I'm going to do a piece here, if I can get hold of a bit. Oh, come on, Louise. Oh, there we go. I want this one. And I'm going to cut a piece that is 13.5, I reckon that'll be about right, centimetres. And then, without further ado, grab some Tombow. I just really wanted to show you that we can make all sorts of things with these wonderful products that we have in our collection. One of them isn't glue tonight. Try that one. I think I need to restore. Oh, there we go. And pop it onto here. And straight away, you've got a really pretty bookmark. Or, if you make it shorter, a gift tag. Now here's one in Boho blue. Again, I'll just measure it. Don't know whether you've thought of making bookmarks like this. Those of you who've had catalogues will have had one arrive today. Let's just see, I'm going in a bit of a guesstimate here because I haven't got room on my desk to stretch my what's it out. There we go. Little bit less, tiny bit, but there we go. Put that on there out the way, grab my glue and go for it. And don't forget, if you're watching this on your phone or on a tablet, don't forget to click that love button and send me some love, because for some reason it really helps Facebook's algorithms and gets other people. The more we do it, Facebook wake up to the fact that the live's happening and put it out to more people. So there we go. They're really sitting. Yeah, they're really useful for journals. And the other bit you can do, if you wished to, would be to obviously stamp a sentiment on them. If my order had arrived, I would put some ribbon to make a tag at the top. So that was just a really quick and easy way of showing you how to make some little bookmarks, or as I say, if you made it shorter, it would be a gift tag and you could add all sorts of bits. Now, my next project is slightly different. It's something that I don't do very often. I just need to remove the little pile. I've taken a piece of the Boho blue card and I've created a template. And as you can see, hopefully you can see the score lines. In fact, so I've taken a piece, and the back piece is 10 centimetres. There's a reason for that. I've then scored to 1.5 centimetres either side, which fold round. I've got 1.5 centimetres at the bottom, and hopefully you can see how it all folds together. I'm going to use double-sided tape for speed, and because I think it's actually really good way of fixing boxes. What I'm doing is creating a gift, because we make pretty cards all the time, and I've just realised I've not brought my take a pic to the desk, so I shall have to pray this comes off. I shall use Lorraine's tip of actually burnishing my sticky sided tape to see if it will come up, which it is doing. So I'm going to put a piece across there, so you're folding that in. I'm putting a little bit on each little one, like so. A little bit on this one. I love this paper, this colour. This is one of the new in colours. And I'm going to then fold it round. But before I do so, I'm just going to put a piece down this long edge here, right down there, nice and close, and you'll see why in a minute. So what you do, and you'll notice at the top edge, oh, I can't get hold of it, because I haven't got my take a pick. There we go. At the top edge I've cut down a little bit and I've angled it to make more of a bit like a folder. So we need to bring it round, keeping it square, nice and square, and oops, that's where it's popped off. Do the other side next. Keep it nice and square, bring it in tight. If you burnish your folds, it really does help. And then I'm just going to pop a bit on this front edge here and peel that one too. I find it better to, if I can, peel and rather stick the tape onto all the bits I need it for and then peel. So, and if you know there are people not watching you normally do reach out to them and say hello for me. Right, so I'm going to fold that over, keeping it nice and square. I'm going to fold that one down and push it in nice and square. There we go. And I've created, I don't know what you'd call it, I'm going to use my bone folder to poke it inside. I've just created a little foldery box, hang on. There we go. And I've cut a piece of the boho blue from the Cheerful Daisies to go onto the back, so I'm just going to use my glue like so. And just pop a piece on the back there. And then I've cut a piece of another piece of the Cheerful Daisies. I do love this DSP, I need to order another pack. And I've cut the piece with the daisies on to go onto the front, so you can see why I'm concentrating on the copper clay and the boho blue tonight, because I just think they go really well together. There we go. So why has she created a box, you're thinking to yourselves? Well, I had another brainwave, something else that we don't do. I'm just going to pop that out of the way. I'm sure you're all aware that Stampin' Up, I hope you are, offer these. Just put that out of the way a minute. They offer basic white note cards and envelopes, and in here you get 20, and you get the little envelopes and the cards ready to go. And what I've done is I've taken some of this DSP, so you have to fold your card like so. I've cut a piece to match those daisies, because if you remember, tonight was all about making gifts and using Stampin' Up to help us, not create a mess, there we go, to create some pretty cards. That's not on square or straight, so let's see if I can get him off before he sticks. There we go. So it's not just me, not just you that can't do this. There we go. That's better. And then I've just taken a piece of the DSP like we did last week, and I've just created a piece at the bottom for interest. And I'm going to pop that straight over there like so. There we go. I have stamped from one of the new stamps, the seasonal branches, happy birthday wishes, and I'm just going to put some glue along the middle. Now I want to get this strip, I don't have the ribbon, it's still somewhere in picking, but I'm going to use a little piece of the boho blue card to pop on there. I'm using the grid to make sure I stick that on straight in the middle, and I'm just going to snip the ends, and then I'm going to bring in some dimensionals, pop them on the back, and just raise the little sentiment. So what I've created is a little sweet note card, like so. Very simple, very tiny, and somewhere I have one or two little gems. I've been using these to make some swaps. There we go. And the other thing I wanted to show you with these papers is they have some tiny little envelopes, and I'm sure some of you already do this. Make sure your paper's going in the right direction, but I'm just going to apply some Tombow to the back of my envelope flap, like so, because remember I was saying this is for a gift. And I'm just going to choose a piece wisely, straighten it up, line it up, stick it on like so, wait a couple of seconds, use my trusty snips, cut those bits off, go around the top edge so it's not too tricky, apart from being left-handed, so your blade is on the right side. Has anybody actually ever done this? I'd love to know. I think it makes your envelopes really, really smart. And there we go. So there's the first little envelope, and you can see why I've done the box. There you go, exactly into there. So without further ado, I'm going to have another play. So I said about the copper clay, so there we go, ordinary little tiny note card, and this time it's the Boho blue and the copper clay, but I've run it, hopefully you can see that, I've run it through the Dotty embossing folder. So if you remember, I said you do need plenty of glue when you've embossed, because obviously it's not a flat surface that you're gluing down, particularly around the edges, so it doesn't peel back up. It shouldn't do. I think Tombow sticks most things to most things, and I literally have just created a front for the card. And the other thing with this was that I haven't actually bought an awful lot of it, so I wanted to make it stretch. So I used one of our circle punches, and I've created a copper clay one, and I've also created another little daisy. So I'm going to pop a dimensional in the middle of the daisy. I'm going to pop him on there. I'm going to attempt to get him better in the middle than I did just then. And then I'm just going to use glue to pop him, and I'm going to go just slightly at the bottom, slightly offset, and I've cut a little strip here, and I'm going to bring in one of the new sets, the Crafting With You didn't see it from me, and because in here somewhere is a very pretty little sentiment which just says with love. Pick that out, and I wanted these flowers. I'm not going to show you too much because I'm going to use it on another day, but let's just grab myself a block. These are some really very pretty flowers. I'm going to go with the Boho blue again and just stamp at one end. Let's pop that over there, and then this little bit, I'm just going to check what it looks like. It just says with love, and I'm just going to use my snips. My Boho blue is very, very juicy, and I'm just going to glue that onto the card. Just to add a little bit of interest, I'm going to tuck it just under the circle. Hopefully you can see that, and just hold it down, because as I say, because of the embossed surface, it just takes a little bit of time to glue itself where you want it. And I'm going to bring in one of the copper clay medium-sized blobs for the centre of the daisy. And then there is the most amazing sentiment I really, really like in this Crafting With You set. I've peeled it off and I've blowed if I can find it. Hang on a minute, where have I stuck it? Here we go, I've lost it already. That's a bit of a shame. It'll come back in a minute, it'll be stuck on somewhere. Anyway, it says sending you a handmade hug, and I don't know what I've done with it, so I'll find it in a minute. So there we go. And with this envelope, I'm going to use one of the pieces that I've just created and just add a little bit to the card. So just bring my trim up again, and slice off that top bit, and just make sure it's gone all the way through, which it didn't. And I'm just going to make it slightly narrower, just down to 3.5 centimetres I reckon. But the beauty of doing these stamping your own little bits of DSP is you can make the best of what you've created. Pop that out of the way. And I'm just trying to show you how the importance of not having naked envelopes. So there we go. Just going to bring it slightly in, up there, and I think that just adds a little bit. Oh, still not short enough. Trim it off without cutting the envelope in half. There we go. So that's a little envelope to match this one. So we've got another one to pop in there. Pop in our little box. I'm sure you can see what I'm doing now. There we go. In it goes. Oh, only it won't. It will, really. There we go. And then finally, I wanted to show you something that I think is quite clever. I took one of the little note cards and I chopped a bit of the front off. And then I put that little piece, the little flappy bit, through the embossing folder, a different one of the other ones that's from the online bit. And I've taken a bit more of the DSP. I've cut it to fit the inside this time, and I'm going to pop it in there, like so. And remember which bit goes where. I've cut all these pieces so you didn't have to watch me sitting and gluing and sticking. Right, I'm then going to, I've got a piece gone walkabout, no there it is. I've got a little bit that is just boho blue. Now if you wanted to, you could make this into a little pocket so it could hold a gift tag. I've just stuck it on like so. Can you see that? Hopefully you can. And then, because obviously then I've got a piece that goes across, I want to put this white onto there, but obviously I don't want that on the inside. So what I'm doing, and it also give it a bit more strength, is I've cut two pieces of the DSP the same size. I'm going to, there we go. So I've made a piece that is boho blue on both sides. I am going to then bring in this Out of Eden flower, and looking at that I'm going to use the boho, I don't know, what do we think, blue or brown for the flowers on this front piece here? Blue or brown? What do we reckon? Anybody mind whether I do blue or brown flowers? I'll just stick this to the front of the envelope. Blue or brown? Boho blue. Right, we'll go for blue. Let's go for the blue. Using the Out of Eden again. Oh, it's a very blobby Out of Eden. I think it's the ink pad. And if I could find the stamp I wanted, it was going to say, and I knew I was going to do this, I've stuck it on something somewhere. I couldn't tell you. So let's have a look. Oh, there it is. It stuck itself to its box. The trouble with very new stamps, if anybody hasn't noticed, they get very, very sticky. Blue, blue, blue. Thanks, Fran. We're going for blue. And then I've got this lovely sentiment that will hopefully just squeeze in there. In fact, I'm actually going to do it the other way. I'm going to show you why you have an emergency side. I'm going to line up the stamp on my grid. I'm going to put the stamp on, the sentiment on rather. Then I'm going to use the flowers, the foliage, because that way I can make sure they fit on. And actually I'm going to use the little one that looks like this, not that one, the little blobby ones in a bit of brown just up there, just because I can, because I really am quite enjoying myself tonight. There we go. And wherever my envelope's gone, I'm going to turn the envelope over and just stamp. If you're going to stamp on the envelope flaps, open them up, because then you don't get any wrinkles or interference from below. And just bring in, oh gosh, yes, you can tell these are new stamps. They're inks rather, they're very juicy. So as I say, there we go. So no naked envelopes. I'll just finish making the card. I'll just get this ink out the way before I cover everybody in blue. So I've done the envelope, and I just need to grab some glue. It's always useful to have an emergency side, I feel. The best of us make mistakes. That's the way I want it. That's going to go on there. I'm going to bring in, if you notice there's some little blobs on here. And love these dots as well. And then what I'm going to do with this piece, obviously I have to be very careful, because I don't want to stick it all over the card, because then the card will glue itself shut. So there we go. We go. And then looking at this, it probably would need, and you could have done that as a pocket as well, but it possibly might need a little bit of white so you could write your sentiment on the inside. I normally have piles of white. Oh, I have piles of white card, but that's the third card to go in my little box. So I do hope you've enjoyed that. And what I am going to do is, once the ribbon has arrived, which might be some time yet, don't know quite what's happened to the shipping here in the UK, I will get some boho blue ribbon round that, and somebody who's been watching tonight, I'll pop all your names, thank you Connie, I'll pop them into a drawer, a random drawer, and I wasn't set up to do it tonight, but I will send these on their way. I've lost the bookmarks that I created. Anything's possible in this mess. Oh, there they are. So tonight I've made 2 little bookmarks. I mean, you could pop those in there really, couldn't you? You could pop those in as a gift once they're finished. 2 little bookmarks and some lovely little projects. I'm going to get the ribbon and I'm going to tie it around here and pop a sentiment on the front. But I do hope you've enjoyed it. For those of you that are watching, if you want to take part in my colour club, please do let me know. It is definitely happening. People have said yes, which is fantastic. I'll come back so I can see you. I hope you've enjoyed that this evening. I've really enjoyed it. I love these colours. This is the Fresh as a Daisy DSP coming to you new next week. Really excited to see what people are going to choose to order from the catalogues. I love the in colours, so May is going to be all about the in colours. Thanks Lorraine. And my colour club starts as of May the 1st. So if you want any more information, just drop me a message, get in touch, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye. Oh, and just one other further thing. I'm off to London tomorrow with Christopher, and our book is launched live in London tomorrow at the Short Stay Rental Summit, and we're going to be part of the Hospitable Hosts Book 2 launch, so I'm really excited. Thanks ever so much. Take care. See you soon. Bye.